I'm Howie Scarborough. I'm the CEO of Fall Protection Distributors. We've recently put out a blog about Flexo-Span Steel Buildings and the standing seam panels that they offer with their buildings. And what we're talking about is the most compatible fall protection equipment that's safe to use on those roof systems in order to protect the workers. So if you're a contractor and you have a project coming up and you know it's a Flexo-Span building, this would be some great research for you to read over. So the first thing you want to do is determine which panel you have. So they have several different standing seam panels. You can scroll through here and quickly identify which panel you're working on. And then down here at the bottom of the page, there is a quick reference chart. It goes through the different panels. So as you can see, we're very compatible. Their panels are compatible with the seam mounted equipment as well as the Ridge Pro that we're going to discuss. So we always want to make sure we're talking about non-curved panels and 22 and 24 gauge panels, steel only, as long as we're talking about seam mounted equipment. So the SSRA1, that is a seam mounted single worker tie off that uses 12 non-penetrating set screws to lock in place. We use a low torque setting. And this is going to provide, like I said, a single worker tie off, plus it has a unique ability to remove the D-ring on top and add different adapter plates. So with the cup tip set screws, which is our standard screw, that's going to be compatible with 22 gauge steel panels. That's going to torque to 90 inch-pounds. We're not talking foot-pounds. We're talking 90 inch-pounds. Other seam anchors that are out there that you're basically tightening bolts and squeezing two plates of metal together. They have to use over 100 foot-pounds of torque to lock into place. The set screws are much more effective at locking in place, and they use a much lower torque setting. So we don't want to smash that seam. We just want to lock onto it. So that's the secret of the set screws, what makes this product so unique. Now, if you're working on 24 gauge steel, you want to switch over to our nylon tip set screw, and that's going to torque from 180 to 200 inch-pounds, not foot-pounds, but inch-pounds. So now you've got a single worker tie off. If you need walk boards, you can mount two SSRA1 seam anchors about 8 feet apart, remove the D-rings. Then you can mount two SSRA2 roof jack adapters on top of those anchor bodies. They lock on with two top bolts. They are seam height adjustable as well as roof pitch adjustable, and they are padded on the bottom. So that makes it easy to use these have a stable walking surface on steeper metal roofs without scratching the panels up. You can also use temporary horizontal lifelines on standing seam roofs if you know how to configure it properly. So what you would do is you would take two SSRA1 anchors. You'd mount two of those on seams next to each other, remove the D-rings. Take an SSRA3 anchor plate. You would mount it on top of two of those SSRA1 anchors. And that's going to be adjustable for seams 12 to 24 inches wide. So we've got you covered with one plate is going to work on about 95% of today's standing seam roofs are 12 to 24 inches wide. So that creates, those two anchors in a plate, creates an anchor point at each end of your 100-foot horizontal lifeline. So the complete kit that does all of this for you is the SSRA HLL Kit that's available on our site. That is 4 SSRA1 seam anchors, 2 SSRA3 anchor plates, and it also includes a 100-foot horizontal lifeline. This is for temporary use for 4 workers, but when you're on standing seam roofs, we add another safety factor and cut that down to 2 workers at a time. The way you would do that for larger crews is you would have a few extra SSRA1 anchors on hand, and you would mount those on seams just below the horizontal lifeline above the work areas. So a worker would move towards the work area, clip off the rope onto a fixed anchor, descend the roof, do the task, go back up, clip into the horizontal lifeline to travel. That's the best way to use the horizontal lifelines. If you need a permanent lifeline, we offer an industry-exclusive Super Anchor 120-foot galvanized steel permanent horizontal lifeline. So that is designed specifically for standing seam roofs that uses non-penetrating clamps, aluminum base plates, galvanized steel riser posts, and you have in posts and intermediate posts, and then 120 feet of galvanized steel cable. All your turnbuckles and connectors are also included with that. If you're working on a panel that is not 22 or 24 gauge steel, it could be shingle, it could be aluminum, zinc, copper. As long as it's 612 to 1212, an alternative option for you would be a Ridge Pro. Think of a Ridge Pro as basically a ladder hook without the big heavy ladder. It just mounts on the end of a lightweight 16-foot telescoping pole. You would climb a ladder. Use the pole to run the Ridge Pro up the roof, flip it over the peak, and you've now locked a vertical lifeline to the peak of the roof. So as soon as you step from the ladder to the roof, you're already 100% tied off to an anchor. You can do your tasks, do your inspection, install other fall protection equipment, Christmas lights, whatever you have to do, and then get safely back to the ladder. You were tied off the entire time. Then you just pick up the pole, twist 180 degrees, it releases from the ridge, and you can get safely to the ground. You were never unprotected up on the roof. So a very versatile product that fits most roofing materials as long as it's 612 to 1212. So if you have any questions about the Ridge Pro or any of these other products, please give us a call. Phone numbers at the top of the website. support@fallpd.com is our email. And this little blue circle in the bottom right corner of our website, that's our live chat. Just let us know how we can help you.